So our community spotlight today is Andrea Parker. She is the Thrive director at the local YMCA, has a master's in nonprofit administration and bachelor's in public health with an emphasis in education and health promotion.
So, Andrea, I see you out there. And do you want to share your screen, Andrea?
No, I
Or
sent over
okay,
my
that's okay. I have
presentation.
it. I just
Okay,
didn't know if you
perfect.
wanted to drive or if you wanted me to drive.
No,
So I'm
thank you. I
happy to
appreciate it.
drive for you. All right, let me end this one. Well, I'll come over here. Let's see here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome. So my name is Andrea, and I am the Thrive Director here at the Treasure Valley YMCA. And our Thrive Center is all inclusive for all ages, all abilities. So it is open to the general public. So we have typical members come in there, as well as like programming that is designed for our adaptive community. And the YMCA loves all sorts of acronyms. So Thrive is also an acronym. It is together helping realize inclusive victories every day. And we started in March of 2020. We were open for about 10 days before we shut down for COVID. So we definitely had a interesting start to, we didn't have a formal grand opening, but that gave us the opportunity to really talk to families and figure out what's the best programming for these spaces and that actually families will want to use. So we can go to the next slide. I just wanted to do a couple quick facts. So 1 in 31 children are recognized with autism spectrum disorder, and that is an increase from the 2020 CDC study. And in West Ada School District here in Meridian, 10% of children are on an IEP. And we recognize that that's just kind of, the concrete data. And there's so many folks that are on a wait list, especially in Idaho, with a wait list being, average about 8 months. So we serve everybody, whether they have a diagnosis or not. It is 100% open. And the cool thing is that we started with an advisory committee that was participants, parents, and providers. So we received valuable input about what equipment to put in there, what color, what features we should do in the spaces, because we want to make sure that all community partners had a voice in what this space looked like. Next slide. Next, I'm going to talk about some quick facts, and then some programs. So the next thing is our overnight camp at Horse Thief Reservoir. So we had this young adult who has cerebral palsy, and he wanted to do the zip line. His parents were a little hesitant about it. And we were like, let's do it. Let's try it. This is a safe spot where we've got lots of folks that can help support. And so we ended up taking him in his wheelchair all the way up this little tiny trail to get him to the top of the hill. And he went down the zip line and he was talking about it all weekend. And he was, asking everybody, did you see me? Did you do that? Did you hear? I got to go down it. And it just completely made his life. His parents were all bawling. I was sobbing at the bottom trying to take pictures of him. And I think it just shows that the Y is committed to serving all people of all abilities. It would have been an easy thing for us to just say no, like we can't do this because of safety or this or that. But we made sure to make it happen. So next slide. Every year we do a Halloween carnival. We partner with the Adaptable Foundation and some other local community partners. We provide resources about adaptive equipment, adaptive resources in the area. We do a Halloween costume contest. And another cool feature is that we do a wheelchair obstacle course, and we have extra wheelchairs available for kids that don't use a wheelchair. And they get to, try and go through this obstacle course and realize it's kind of challenging. And the kids that use wheelchairs are like zipping through it left and right. So it's a great way to show this is a skill that, these kiddos have, and this is a skill that maybe you don't necessarily have. So maybe, don't be so quick to judge, and, it builds some empathy too, because the parents sometimes try and they realize it's much harder to get used to. But it's a lot of fun. And then the next slide. We just had this a couple weeks ago. It is our adaptive egg hunt. So as you can see, there's all these pretty streamers, and we tape eggs to the bottom of the streamers. Thinking about somebody that uses a wheelchair, it would be very challenging for them to pick up an Easter egg off of the ground. So this allows it to be at more of a chest level, so folks can easily grab it. We tape it so that way folks can have a limb difference, can easily grab it and roll it down the streamer to pop it off. So we've had folks that have said, like, my adult children have never had an opportunity to do an egg hunt, and this is the first time. The bottom left picture is one of our gals who is blind, and so we did beeper eggs for her. So we had one room that was a quiet space where we could have beepers around the room, and so she could find the egg hunt, and then we'd set off the next beeper so she could find the next one, and so on. We also did a low sensory hunt, so for folks with sensory sensitivities, as well as an outdoor typical egg hunt where, kids are just running as fast as they can. It's almost like a rugby match for all the fun eggs. So next slide. This is some of our stats from last year's summer camp. So we had 289 participants in our day summer camps. And then we had 30 participants for Raise for Rare, which serves siblings that have a brother or a sister that has some sort of medical complexity or some sort of disability. And then we have 275 participants in our other programs. So we do cooking classes, dance classes, arts and crafts, cookie decorating, all sorts of different fun things. The next slide is all of our adult programming. So we're really focusing on life skills. There's so many programs for kids in the Treasure Valley. And we wanted to make sure that we highlight our adults because the kids grow up. And just because they grow up doesn't mean that they still don't need services and fun recreational activities. If anything, they need more activities. So we do life skill classes, cooking classes, that dessert decorating. We also have some really awesome volunteers. So the gal in the first picture is with the BSU nursing program. And so we are kind of training the next generation of nurses to be more inclusive, to see folks with disabilities outside of a clinical setting. And the next slide. This is our largest program. This is Aquability. So this is a therapeutic aquatic program. It's one-to-one, and it is a service that can be covered by Medicaid. So we have a huge group that is using Medicaid services in order to pay for this, which is incredible because so many of our families are on financial assistance, or they just physically would not be able to cover the cost. And swimming and water safety is such a huge life skill. Children with autism are 160 times more likely to drown than neurotypical children. And so that's a huge number. And we see cases every single year of kids with autism drowning because they are just drawn to the water. And so it's so important for us to have a program where folks can feel comfortable, feel safe, while also having it be affordable. The Y truly believes that nobody should be turned away due to inability to pay. So that's why we offer financial assistance as well as these diverse types of funding. So we had 413 participants served last year. We have about 320 that come weekly. And so the little number discrepancy is just folks that have left the program because they've kind of met all their goals, reached their thing, or schedule changes. But yeah, 320 a week that we serve just in the Treasure Valley. And so that's all I have. I know it was a quick little, 10 minutes, but I would love if anybody has any questions.
Andrea, can you explain how families or caregivers would engage to learn more about how to participate?
Yeah, the best thing would be to go to our website. So the Treasure Valley Family YMCA website, that we actually have a whole tab for Thrive, which is all of our adaptive programming. And then we can kind of go through whatever makes the most sense based on their child's ability and age. There's no referral needed because we do serve everybody and they don't have to be members. We do give a member discount. So, but there's always a member or non-member pricing. And we also have free programs for folks that aren't members as well, because respite is a huge part for this community. So we offer 3 different free respite programs in the Treasure Valley, and we use volunteers for that.
Can I say something?
You can.
Hi, Andrea. This is Ellie.
Hi.
My grandson Karu participates in a lot of the Thrive programs,
Yeah.
and he absolutely loves it. It's one of his favorite summertime activities, is going to Thrive Camp. But I just wanted to say, when we first got our grandson, and were in kinship with him, I was very, very overwhelmed. And through kinship, we get a free YMCA membership for him. And I came in and sat down with Travis, and he was so wonderful. I was like, I don't know what to do. I have this entire summer that I have to figure out what to do with him. And he was so amazing. And he sat down with me and went through all the programs. And then he brought Andrea over and, told us how we could make it affordable and manageable for us. And then both Andrea and Travis said, do you know these other programs? And I was like, no. So they helped me navigate that and put me in touch with other families that were kind of in the same situation that I was. And it was so incredibly helpful. And it just made our summer so much easier. So I absolutely love the Thrive program. My grandson loves it. I encourage anybody to be involved in this wonderful program.
Thank you. That means so much to us. And we absolutely love Karu. Like, he is so much fun. I'll share a quick little story, but he always shows up with like the best like cowboy getup. And so he'll have like a cowboy hat or like a long sleeve shirt. And he is just so much fun. And we have these inflatable roadies. And so he always does like his little rodeo thing on it. And it's so much fun. But yeah, thank you for sharing. We really appreciate it. And like she mentioned, so separate from, kids with disabilities, we do serve a large portion of folks that are in foster care and kinship, just because there tends to be a little bit of a different dynamic in the family. as well as there's usually some neurodiversities or some trauma that shows up differently, sometimes shows up behaviorally. And so our staff has additional training in that. So we do tend to get a lot more kids that are in foster care as well. And the YMCA is so cool in providing a free membership for foster kids, and they get 2 free day camps each summer. They also get free swim lessons, free sports, and 1 free week of overnight camp at Horse Thief Reservoir, which is where we were doing the zip lining. So if you guys are ever in touch with any families that are fostering, it's an incredible resource because we really want to make sure that the kids are getting the best experience. I wasn't expecting to cry in this. Thanks.
Yeah.
And Horse Thief is amazing as well. Karu also got to go to that last summer, and we were so nervous to have him be away from us. He had never been away from us since we've gotten him. And I think I was more scared to leave the camp without him. But knowing through Thrive, through those connections and meeting some of the people
Attention YMCA
from
members and guests, be
through Thrive, being able to meet some of the people at camp, it did give us reassurance that he was going to be just as safe there as he is at Thrive day camps when we leave him. And he had a ton of fun up there and got to experience new things, like mountain biking and swimming in a lake, which he had never done before, and just being around kids constantly. And so he's very looking forward to going this year. So that's just as great. And I don't have to worry because now I know everybody is trained and prepared for kids like Karu.
Well, thank you so much, Andrea.